Okay, so what do you think someone needs to create a press kit, Luke? Like, what are the three things that you think they need?
Yeah, well, first of all, a press kit, if you're starting a brand new show, is like the golden ticket to getting guests, it's like batting above your weight class for getting big guests. The number one thing is showing the guest, potential guest, what's in it for me. It's not like the back of a book where it's about the author and you just are telling someone about how cool you are. It really needs to be about, what is the guest going to get out of the show?
So that's number one is yours is just prove that you're above your weight class, like put yourself in a professional light. Some practical things that you can do if you really think about what goes into a press kit that actually performs like that. It's actually easier than you think, right? Like there's only so many elements that you want to have on there. And that's kind of part of it, right? It's actually being smart about putting in just the bare essentials in there. So the most important is going to be a very professional photo of you. So oftentimes, founders come to us and they haven't ever done a photo shoot. It's not that hard to go find a local photographer and get at least one really good professional headshot that shows you in a professional light. For me, I wear a Hawaiian shirt because it's more like cool and it's bold and it's my identity and it's my style. If you're a banker, you might want to do something that's in a suit, that shows kind of what your energy is about. But definitely start with a great professional photo. That's going to show that you have that professional image. So what else, Luke? Let's talk about like what actually needs to be in there. Like what kinds of elements need to be in there aside from your photo. How else can you bat above your weight class?
Yeah, photo. If you have any good guests already booked for the show, put those in with their faces. So, here's the top 3 episodes that are already recorded and published or ones that are coming would be a big thing to put in. What type of social promotion you're going to put behind it. So you don't need to necessarily give away a guaranteed number of impressions or how big your following is on social media. But if you do have a social team that can say, hey, I'm going to take this and make 2 or 3 videos out of this. I'm going to give you a social graphic and make it really easy for you to post. That's something that the person will say, oh, great. I'll easily have these assets available to me that I can leverage on my own social media. So worst case, no one listens to this podcast. At least I'll have 2 or 3 really great videos that I can use and save time.
Yeah, you always want to think about what's in it for them, right? And that's so powerful. Like if I'm going to go use my time, a lot of times you go on a show that doesn't have any reputation. The first question that I'm going to have in my mind is, will they even finish the episode? And that's so like one, you need to promise that you're going to actually deliver it. And so if you send a press kit that looks like you put some thought into it, you're a little bit more credible and they're going to believe you. So yeah, the clear, like here's the 5 or 6 deliverables that you're going to get on top of, okay, I'm going to push this out to my networks. One thing that you can also do is talk about the brands that you've worked with too. Like maybe you haven't had big name guests on your show yet, but you've worked with big corporations or big brands, or you've had partners. You can put those logos on your press kit, and that shows that you've been out there. You also can show if you've had appearances on other networks. Maybe you've been on CNN or you've been on, a local news network. You can put that on there, as well as other podcasts that you've been seen on, and you can put one of these as seen on columns in your press kit, and that adds credibility and again it increases your reputation. That's really what you want to do.
Well, obviously, one thing we haven't covered, you need to talk about yourself a little bit.
That's right.
You need to say what your background is, what credentials you have, establish yourself as an expert. You can be an expert in the field and be interesting to someone without having 100 episodes published. So write a professional bio or have someone help you with that. And then also you need to tell them what the podcast is about, because they want to also know that this show is going to be in line with their brand or their personal philosophies. So a very clear description of what the show is about, what types of topics you've talked about. If you have links to any other episodes that have been published, put that on there. And then I think really the last piece, which we haven't covered, is it needs to look good.
That's right.
So you need to have a fancy headshot, but you can't just slap it in a Canva template and expect someone to think it looks good. So it's worth paying for good design, whether that's through a professional Fiverr designer. Don't pick the $5 one. That's the cheapest option. Get someone that's credible, or send it out to a design agency that knows what they're doing.
And that's it. That's how you design a really cool press kit. So, all right, we'll see you on the next episode.
And that's all for today's episode of The Big Possible Show. If you have a big idea you want us to explore, please reach out at thebigpossible.com.